Okay, we're outside. How does this look? This was Lexi's brilliant idea to do this outdoors, in the great outdoors. So, I am going to get organized here. Sup, guys? Lexi and I are trying this new thing where we have casual chats with you guys whilst touching grass. Hence the filming in the great outdoors. Anyways, I decided to make it cozy. So I brought my coffee, and I thought I would have a little picnic out here and make it cozy. Even though what I wanted to chat with you guys about today is not such a cozy topic. Oh, my milk's over here. Yes, I drink coffee with milk. That is whole milk. I don't believe in alternatives. Oh, this is cute. Like, now you can see my coffee. Okay, we're here. We're in it. I'm wearing my Tampa hat today because I'm missing my home. I don't miss Tampa per se. I miss my family and I miss my friends. So missing them. It's also nice out. It's a nice afternoon here in the beautiful Firenze. I'm trying to get some sun on, little vitamin D on my legs before winter comes and they don't see the light of day for about 6 or so months. Anyway, so I'm here today. Like I said, it's not such a cozy. I want to get cozy because I want us to be comfortable. I want it to feel like we're chatting. Ever since Lexi and I kind of changed our podcast model to be seasonal, it's like you guys don't get as much of our chit chat, and that's kind of what we built this community on. Was yes, we wanted to push forward conversations about the environment, about global culture, but also the camaraderie between us. We're best friends and we have good chat, and that's part of the reason why I know that the community feels so connected with us, because it feels like you're just chatting with us, right? Well, I had this idea with Lexi, of course, I'm going to try and open this, to do that again, but in a more cozy, casual way, because our podcast model now is seasonal. So you get a little bit less of us, and they're very, very good seasons. Sorry, I'm hearing some weird movement behind me. They're great seasons. They're well researched. They're really thought out, and I'm really proud of what we're doing over there. I hope you guys get excited about the upcoming season we're working on. I'm not going to drop what it's about yet, though, but go listen to the plastic season in the interim. Anyway, so I wanted a little more FaceTime, and also I want to get cozy because what I'm about to talk about is not such a cozy topic, but I think it's important that we feel safe and comfortable when we talk about it. So if you've been keeping up with us, you may know that we're reading this book here. We Will Not Be Saved by Nemonte Nenquimo for this month's Hoteler 360 book club. And I wanted to share a few words about my experience so far. I'm about halfway through, as you can maybe see. That's about where I am right there. I'm about halfway through, and this book has made me cry 3 times already. Not that that's surprising. If you know me, you know that I cry pretty easily. I'm taking this off. Oh, that feels better. A little more liberating. I'll keep the Tampa still in the frame so that people back home still know that I'm thinking about them. So as I said, I'm about halfway through this book, and this has made me cry 3 times already. Again, if you know me, you know that this is not so surprising. This is not shocking. I cry very easily anyway. But this memoir has a lot of haunting themes, some of which include neocolonialism, imperialism, exploitation of both humans and the natural world, and the sanctity of indigenous culture and knowledge, as well as the irony of white saviorism. I'd like to chat about all that for a quick second. If I could have your attention, please. Colonialism, neocolonialism, and imperialism are dark subjects, and let the record state that I'm not an expert, and I'm acknowledging my privilege. I'm just sharing ideas. I just want to have a chat because community is something that's really important to me, and I always learn from community. I learn more when I talk about complex issues with my friends, with my community, and then we can learn from each other. So that's just what I'm trying to do here today. So whenever we hear these words, colonialism, neocolonialism, imperialism, our brains tend to go back in time. We think 15th to 18th centuries, maybe. We think Christopher Columbus discovering a new land in 1492. We think of the Spanish invasion of Peru or Mexico. We think the French invasion of Algeria. We think English invasion of the Americas, or perhaps England's influences even via the East India Trading Company, with that mess commencing in the 1600s and lasting for centuries. But we seldom think of the 1990s. We seldom think of the 2000s. We definitely aren't thinking of 2025. We're not thinking about right now. And I want to ask, why is that? I think it has something to do with the way we tell the story, at least in my experience growing up in the United States. The American public education system. Why is that? Why do we think that these like concepts are isolated to like far remote history? That's open for discussion, and I'd love for people to join into that conversation. But Nemonte's memoir takes place mostly in the 90s and in the early 2000s. She recounts her own experiences with this dynamic of white missionaries coming to her territory and planting their roots, so to speak. With the missionaries came big oil too, and it's not clear to me which one came first, whether the missionaries settled there first or big oil started drilling there first. But regardless, um, American and Ecuadorian, and potentially also from other countries as well, missionaries from these countries came to this indigenous territory and told them that they needed to learn the ways of God, and even convinced them to collaborate with exploitative oil companies because it was going to make them richer. I mean, haven't we heard this story before? As stated, I'm far from being an expert on the subject, but I'm just spitting a few ideas and having a chat. This book so far has brought to attention the fact that the frankly ugly history, yes, I'm going to express some opinions here. I can't help it. This is a colloquial chat we're having. Ugly history we learned about in school, imperialism, colonialism, is not so far removed from us. And I know that might ruffle some feathers given it's very obvious. It's not, for some, it's obvious that it's not far removed from us, right? I mean, if we consider the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, for example, like it's clear that there are still oppressive forces using or encroaching on land that's not theirs for economic or strategic or capitalistic even benefit. But Lexi exclaimed last week in her Touch Grass video that environmentalism is deeply personal. I love that. Sorry, had to marinate with that for a second. But I've come to realize that Nemonte's story is a perfect example of how that's true. The Waorani tribe of Ecuador's Amazon rainforest, this culture, this harmony that they have with the land exemplifies this very well. But what I realize is that we are all a part of that symphony. with the earth. Humans are nature. The disruption of nature is a disruption to our being too, that like interconnected web of consciousness, of connectedness. And some people do explain that through religion. And this video is not meant to criticize religion. I want to make that clear as well. I just want to acknowledge the role that religion, organized religion, and its mission had in this particular story, and sometimes comes up when we talk about neocolonialism, imperialism, colonialism, etc. I found myself growing so angry. I mean, I'm an animated person, but so angry at these blatant invasions of their land by both big oil and Christian missionaries, disrupting their harmony with the earth, stealing their people to work at the rigs, luring young members of the indigenous village to leave their families behind and become good Christians so that they could secure a spot in heaven and, more importantly, be sent back to their people and spread the word. And further on that personal note that Lexi was trying to make a point of last week, Nemonte dives into some of the horrors that come with neocolonialism, that come with imperialism. The whole thing is abusive and exploitative by nature, and reading her story is bringing me to tears, and that shit feels personal. Anyways, I wanted to bring this up because I think these stories are really important to bring us back to earth, so to speak. Me touching grass. Remind us what the real cost of this type of advancement is. I've got lots more to say, as you guys can probably imagine. Lexi does too. So please consider joining us for the Hoteler 360 book club as we finish reading We Will Not Be Saved by Nemonte Nenquimo. This is sometimes called We Will Be Jaguars, I think, in the United States, in those editions. There is going to be a discussion from Lexi and I coming out in the beginning of November to further dive in to the book. We're really excited. We have lots of things to share. I haven't even really heard Lexi's ideas yet. So as you guys may know, when we do our book club, we don't really share too much with each other throughout. We kind of save it for the discussion. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's information on how to participate in the comments of this video. Thank you, residents, and I'll see you around. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I said that right. Do you think like it's not kosher to talk about milk on an environmental education platform? Yes, I drink milk from the bottle. Okay? Sue me. Oh, it's nice out. It's really nice out. Oh, it's fucking zanzare. Oh, Maremma. Dai, non voglio pensare quanto farà freddo tra un po'. Ah, meno male c'è il sole. Meno male c'è il sole. Okay, what do we think about this position? Do you guys think that the Italians think I'm crazy for sitting in the park talking to myself with a mocha pot that I literally brought from the house? They must think I've escaped from the institution. They're like, honey, are you lost? Is anyone here to help you? No, ragazzi, non sono persa. Voglio solo parlare con I miei amici. Ugh. Christopher Columbus discovering a new land in 1942.